And our first reader is Beverly Fenig, who is an instructor, has been an instructor at QCC in the English department since 2000. Her poetry has been published in such small press journals as A Shout in the Street and the CUNY Womens Coalition Journal. And she has been a guest reader on WBai and at Dr. Generosity's Poetry Cafe in Manhattan. Recent work of hers has been accepted for publication by Poets Wear Prada Press and by Poetica Mag. She often writes about gender issues and about her struggles in embracing an observant Jewish life. Please welcome Beverly Fenig.
So nice to be here. First, I'd like to thank all those who planned this event, and especially Andrew Levi for inviting me to participate. And I have to say, it's been a while since I've been involved in giving poetry readings, about 25 years, so it's very exciting for me to be here. The poems I'll be reading today are from a manuscript that I've put together after taking a very long break from writing poetry. And just to give you a little bit of an introduction, many of these poems deal with gender issues, as you said, and often more specifically about relationships among women, especially the often difficult relationship between mother and daughter. Some deal with aspects of family life, others are about the teaching life and the writing life, and a few, and most of these are earlier poems of mine, are about searching for my roots, as they say, and struggling to come to terms with tradition and religion of my culture. So that just gives you kind of a broad overview. Okay, nice to see so many students here interested in creative writing. Okay, the first poem I'm going to read is called Commencement. I think I'm going to sit down. Okay. It was college graduation, the early 70s. Our hippie hair tucked into our caps and gowns. My mother, dowdy old lady in orthopedic shoes, younger then than I am now, stood all smiles in the blazing sun until I left her standing alone to stand beside my ponytailed man, who later left me for the next to come along. It's 10 years now she's gone, and today, as they prepare the quad for the latest crop to come, I wonder how many endings under the sun have already begun. So that's the first one. And the next one is about a woman growing older, and since many of us are struggling with this and so many negative ideas and feelings about this, that I try to frame this in a positive way. The pleasure of near 50. No more he, she's got it glances. No more stunned, deer in the road gazes. No more embarrassed missed catches. No more deference to imagined power in another. No more silly scenes, stammering, shame-faced excuses, starvation diets, standing before the mirror for another. No more. Instead, the slow, slow simmer of a sumptuous stew. I brought some water up. Thank you so much. Okay, another poem about women's issues, I guess. It's called I Admit. Thank you so much. I admit your approach speaks much wisdom. Relationship over chosen aloneness. This speaks to me, all women struggling to civilize those who take leave of what they love. Such engagement elevates, all rise, and yet another voice, also in love with letting go, whispers reverence for this image, a woman alone, sitting in her garden under the New England sun, hands folded in her lap luxuriant, peaceful doves come home. In my 18th century, in my 102 class, I teach a lot of 19th century women writers, and a group called the regional writers often deal with this very self-reliant New England woman who makes a life for herself independent of men. So that's what inspired that poem. Okay, some poems about family. Polio. Father, with legs that failed you again and again, those twisted, turning, feeble things, you sat alone, always alone, in the corner of that room, your one passion, poring over the pages of popular mechanics, trying to figure out again and again how to make things work. Okay, a lot of poems about family and difficulties of coming from working class family, struggling to survive. Okay, mother. Sadly, that man, a bag of broken bones, became yours forever. But the story is never simple. A once handsome face, sea green eyes, hair Italian dark, to your shiksa blonde. At first a mere limp, he worked hard still. The factory in the Bronx by day, by night, newspapers sold from a stand in the cavernous, deafening dankness beside the D. But legs that betrayed became what stayed, and alone he sat all day. Fury spent in a chair in the kitchen by the stove. You'll get burned, you yelled. I don't care, don't care, don't care, don't care, echoing like the lost ghostly line of the D train trailing off. Yet you caring for those bones that cursed you, surrendered, it seemed. But perhaps always, somewhere you remembered that first glance, prancing across time to another time lost, where once I saw Father kiss you on the cheek, you giggled and your eyes fired like jewels. Next poem is one I've been trying to write for a very long time, and it's really about my thinking about how much books meant to me as a child, and how reading, I think, really saved my life, certainly helped save my sanity. And one of my favorite books and one of my favorite characters was Pippi Longstocking. Yes? Okay. And in adulthood, I was trying to think about why, it's such an important character to me, and so appealing. Okay, so this is called In Praise of Pippi Longstocking. Almost orphan free, as heroines had to be, you roamed the world of my imagination, when I, a shy, red-haired, freckle-faced naif, went sailing with you, pigtails blowing in the South Sea breeze. Mistress at 9 of your great estate, Villa Culla, your chaunt pet, your man, you brought prowlers to their knees, hung bad boys on trees, circus queen, savior, sailing the seas, apprentice pirate, princess Pipolata, an island your own. But I can't summon now what you once were to one mild in her wiles, wild in her musings, except this, reading you Pippi was pleasure immeasurable, plucked from island vines, you and I, long ago, together, climbed. Okay, a poem about the divided self. I sit and wait. I sit and wait to see which self will come to call. Neither approves the other. Where one basks, the other shudders. Where one glows, the other falters. I wish to summon these selves to a summit. The mission ambitious, nothing short of global peace. The parties resist. Each claims sovereignty, divine right, was here first, will prevail at the expense of the other, herself. Okay. Now some poems about teaching and writing. This one's called A Poet's Envy. Envy, that green thing with claws, crawls up my spine. the incongruous image mine, singing the winner's praises in a daze of defeat, staring over my shoulder, hiding under the sheet. Seismic shifts occur when words fail to reveal beauty and truth. Rusted signposts nailed to a tree, wholly green. Okay. Stop being an adjunct. The adjunct. I'm a note in the margin, sometimes read, sometimes dead paper discarded. Not here nor there, but everywhere. Oxymoronic, moving like air through corridors unnoted. And yet, when hand moves to pen, the paper marked stares back, sticking out its tongue. Thinking of that other poet, not sunning myself in the south of France, no sparkling wine and cheese gifts of Provence, not sitting for hours reading the letters of great women writers, just drop dead tired after a day of words unheard, instruction unheeded, dishes in the sink, laundry in the bin, dinner waiting for someone to make it. Still, a moment of magic. My daughter, beside me, asks that I read to her from The Little Prince. Soon she wants me to draw her a picture of a sheep, petite, or some baobabs, then laughs as she imagines my many mistakes. The dishes and all can wait. Exhaustion, that interloper. Exhaustion, that interloper, robs us of the good, leaves us lying where integrity stood. Shamefaced we rise with cries of, I meant to, I couldn't, I can't. The revolving chant leaves us pining, panting for air, till that cold stare, the accuser's glare, gleamed in the glass, and again we go down the endless round. Okay, it's a little heavy, this one. Mother, years ago, you asked me to write your life story. Orphan-hearted, husband-haunted, loneliness the luggage lumbered about. With you gone, naming my child for you, seeking to name you, reclaim you, bring the story to bear. The markers are clear, the map of your life, mine. The child pines, the darkness stretches like lines unread, like too many fled. Mother, know this too late. Your story is written on my bones, which are breaking beneath their weight. Okay, this is brand new, little work in progress, well, let's see. It's called Wanting. Wanting to be frugal, she chooses the brown banana, passes over the ripe one, the other bought sooner. Proud of her thrift, remembering her mother, who drank sour milk curdled in her coffee, the daughter disdainful, her mother a mixture of mildness and anger, who defended the sour swirl in her cup. Good enough for her, who wasted nothing. Once promising herself better, the daughter peels the fruit oozing and consumes what's bruised. This is called The Wedding Photo. The wedding photo found among ruins of the past, palimpsest of possibility, in sepia shadowed. Those satin smooth cheeks and cherubic smiles, the couple innocent vowed unto heaven to one another, in the end framed. Okay. There is in each of us a voice twisted and turned that scares us to death, but is like our very breath, that tells a story we know we've read, but can't recall when or where or why. But it seems the story of our life, told by a madman in love with death, with watching us drown, go down, 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 for whom such loss is lust. God help us. And one of my all-time favorite singers, listening to Janis Joplin. Texas tore you free until famed you claimed, I'm going home, baby. They laughed me out of town, but now I'm going home. Those good old boys couldn't hear a raw-mouthed girl belt out those rocking blues, plaintive cries for just one good man, while the Klan burned those who bore the blues. A couple of short ones, okay. Thinking about women's lives again. The waxing. Women whipping wax rip away my throat, my lips, my legs. Remind me, can't stay, the pain of women ripping away and from each other what's theirs to claim. The next time you go. Okay. Okay. Upon hearing news of the tragic death of a high school honor student, please make the pain part of the poem, not the nightly news. The worst imagined, locked in line, not real time, revealing the father reeling, his grief complete, masked for a moment with a voice eerie, calm, and cool, saying only, too soon, too soon. Next two poems have to do with my exploration of my culture and religion, and this poem is called The Faithful, and it's also in part based on my reading of a book called Hasidic Tales of the Holocaust by Yaakov Eliak. The Faithful. In Auschwitz, men of faith facing death formed a tribunal and put God on trial. They found him guilty of the most unspeakable crimes and acts against humanity. At its conclusion, outraged, broken, the faithful shook their feeble fists against the sky, and at sight of the setting sun, cried that it was time for their evening prayers. Okay, I think this will be the last one. I'll read it. It's a kind of long one. It's actually a poem that I wrote more than 25 years ago and actually have published in a small press journal, and I've since done some revision on it, and kind of speaks to, I think, almost every aspect of my life, women's issues, and coming to terms with traditional religion, and reading and writing and everything else under the sun. So, and all the conflicts involved in all of this, and the title is kind of long and supposed to reflect that sense of kind of dizzying conflict and exploration. It's called Reading. I should also mention that it's inspired by a book by Maxine Hong Kingston, written, I guess, in the 80s, called The Woman Warrior, right? And some of you probably have read it. It's a wonderful book, written by a Chinese-American writer. Reading Maxine Hong Kingston's The Woman Warrior while studying at a yeshiva in Jerusalem and preparing for Passover. So, okay. Searching for crumbs I've been chosen to sweep away. I think of you, Maxine, and stories of Chinese women, slave girls, shamed girls, legendary war girls, swinging their swords while I sweep away the day. Ashes and crumbs and dust, and stories in my head, and I long for love, whatever is not my own. Unable to hear the voices that heard the voice, I hear instead sweet urban melodies, the twisted, haunting city cries. The stark Jerusalem sun is on my back, where at the center it's hot, too hot, Better to live on the edge, the crooked, tangled, sensual edge of things, where stories of Chinese women bring me closer to myself than all this ancient strangeness. A destiny I can't hold or taste as I taste the sweet pork and bitter herbs of New York urban delight. She says she lives among ghosts, white devil man ghosts. I too live among ghosts. His brown hand on my bare white shoulder, here where life is the law. Oh, the sweet law, life within a beautiful dance that David wrote the music for, and you, my love, choreograph. Soon all Jerusalem will eat from one plate. Strange chants arise, centuries of cries. I stand outside and cry for the secret within, the longing within. But once inside, I long for pure, raw darkness where all destinies dwell. My lips against yours, where I too sing and chant the chant of exotic lands. My feet unbound, my voice public. I sing and I cry across Asia, Europe, America. I sing and do an ancient dance while strange desires fill my heart. This wrestling with destiny makes me want to sleep, and I sleep and dream of legends of women warriors, free and brave, slicing the cruel air with the swing of a sword. Voices, so many voices, whispering in my ear, calling me away from here. And still the crumbs, so many crumbs, a woman's sword can't slice, a song can't make disappear. Thank you very much.